The plight of the children came to the fore in July 2015 when parents noticed that the children's legs were becoming weak or paralyzed after an injection at the Akichelesit dispensary. Nearly 30 families reported that the children had been affected by the strange ailment. In some cases, the parents claimed the children's feet started rotting. The children were transferred to Nairobi Hospital for specialized treatment and later discharged in August 2015. The Busia County government was then supposed to take responsibility of treating all the affected children through physiotherapy, electrical muscle stimulation, and regular checkups for the children as recommended by doctors from Nairobi Hospital. But when the children and their parents came back home, they soon realized that they had been left on their own. It's been 3 years since 28 children in Teso North suffered from various forms of paralysis after receiving malaria injections. The condition of the children has deteriorated, and families here say they find it hard to get medical services from local hospitals because they lack facilities to treat the children.
Kaunti ya Busia tulitoka Nairobi, wakadanganya sisi ati madaktari watakuja Akichelesit. Madaktari walikuja mara 2 3 kusha kuna tena matibabu. Sasa wewe mzazi, mtoto ameumia kwangu hiyo. Kila saa mtoto analia shida. Uko na nguvu ya kuanzia mtoto sasa kuendelea hiyo matibabu.
Kaunti hakuna usaidizi hata mmoja kaunti inatusaidia. Vile juzi tu tulienda wakatupatia painkillers, that's all.
Wakatuambia sisi wenyewe ati nyinyi wenyewe mfanyisha watoto wenu practice. Sasa sisi tukajaribu, hakuna vile sasa unaweza fanya practice unafanya aje.
Kupitia kwa hao madaktari wa Nairobi watoto wetu walikuwa na improve, lakini tangu turudi kutoka huko hata hawajahudumiwa. Tangu wakati hiyo tukienda Busia wanatuambia mashini ya kupima hao watoto hakuna, ati mrudi huko mtafute hospitali nyingine. Sasa tunashindwa tutaenda wapi?
Imekuwa vigumu zaidi, ni kama sisi tunawakwasa. Wanatuambia hiyo ni ulemavu ya ukoo. Ulemavu ya ukoo inaweza kalemesha watoto 28.
According to Kate's medical report, she was supposed to undergo another surgery to repair the damaged nerve and muscle. 3 years, and this family is waiting on that surgery that may have changed her fortunes. Now, this little girl only knows constant pain.
Vile tulienda Busia huko tukipeleka hospitali, tunapewa tena multivitamin na painkillers. Wanatuambia ati mguu itakana hospitali ndogo ndogo. Tutafuta shilingi 1110 ati ndio ushike ukienda huko.
Tired of the empty promises, in December 2015, the family sued the county government for medical negligence. The courts ruled in favor of the parents and the victims in December 2017, ordering the county government to pay 38 million shillings to the 28 children who suffered paralysis after receiving a toxic jab. Busia resident magistrate Josephine Malaria ruled the children were victims of professional negligence and were not given proper diagnosis and treatment by a competent medical practitioner. The money was awarded to the victims depending on the level of injury they suffered. In her ruling, Josephine said the victims suffered permanent physical disability of between 5 to 20%. It is unfortunate for a child born without any disability to wake up and find himself in that state. He is likely to suffer mental anguish, read the judgment. In the doctor's opinion, the plaintiffs have permanent physical disablement which affected their ability to walk, the court heard. The ruling marked the end of a long wait for justice by the children and their parents. The families are hopeful that the money will go a long way in treating their little ones since the county government had long abandoned them. 9 months on, the families are yet to be paid, and no one has answers to the numerous questions they ask in the wake of the tragedy that befell their children.
Kama tunaweza kwenda kwa kaunti yetu ya Busia na hakuna usaidizi wanatuchukuliwa, ni kama umetuchezea kama mpira. Na sio upenda kwetu.
Kufika mwezi wa 6, budget ilisomwa, hatukupata watoto kama wamewekewa pesa zao. Hata county government ndio wametutupa kabisa. hawana habari. Tumejaribu kuenda maandamano Busia, hata gavana kutoka ndani ya nyumba yake kuja tu kutazama watoto, hajawahi hata siku moja kwa miaka 4 hizi zote. So ni gharama kubwa. Tangu 2015 hadi na leo tumepoteza pesa nyingi, hata mifugo tumeuza, tumebaki tu bure.
That's an allegation, and let us emphasize it's an allegation. The issue was well publicized, and professional bodies came to investigate, both from the United Nations, the national government, and the NGO. To date, as we speak, none of these organizations have submitted a report indicating that it's this particular nurse who did it, which dates, and which drug she used on the kids. And I want to confirm to the whole world that the lady is still working, because we cannot punish her on the basis of allegations. Even if the courts passed, if they brought their rulings or orders, it would be very difficult to respect them, because on what basis even did the courts issue these orders?
The truth of the matter is that we had medical reports from our own doctor. We examined these kids and found out that there was indeed medical malpractice. And this was involving sciatic nerve, which, as per the medical report, was very fatal. Actually, was very serious, to an extent that kids, most of the kids, got permanent disabilities. And even their own doctor, after examining the kids, he also established the same position, together with their own documents, which they had from their own dispensary, and the document from Nairobi Hospital, where the children were taken for physiotherapy. And that's the evidence that was given in court. And it's that evidence that the court relied on and came out without outcome. So we strongly believe that, in our opinion, it's very callous and inhumane for the governor, the position he occupies, to come out and say that they cannot compensate these kids. All we know is that at the moment, the information we have is that the kids are going through a lot of trauma. And the pain that they have experienced, it is shame that the county government cannot compensate them.
I do sympathize with the situation. I do sympathize with the kids. I do sympathize with the parents. We are willing to assist. The lawyers and the press has been misleading the parents and the children. If they could be in touch with the governor and the county government, if they had good intentions other than compensation, these are our residents. They are entitled to all kinds of services that the county government can provide, physiotherapy and all those things. So people are just misguiding them.
The county government is being vindictive over no basis. As we know, our constitution is very clear that health is now a devolved function. As indicated in our medical reports through our doctors, is that they need medication for the rest of their life. They have been permanently injured, most of them. So they need to be taken care of. So for the county government to decline that because of these children going to court to sue, and on the basis of that judgment that they are now enemies, they cannot give them treatment, that's unconstitutional. In fact, they are violating the rights of the children. When they saw our demand as per the judgment, that's when they again made a proposal that if that sum can be reduced by 50%, which we found slightly abnormal, because there's no way you have a judgment from court and then somebody proposes now, I can only pay a half. In fact, it was like they were threatening us that if we don't accept that a half, they may even take 20 years to compensate these people, because they will want to compensate them at their will. Whatever little resources they will find, even if in a year they want to give them 1 million, they will give them at their own wish and at their own will, which we found quite unfortunate is that they have no feelings for these kids. They have no sympathy for what the kids went through. We are at the verge of filing further proceedings known as judicial review for the purpose of obtaining orders from the High Court so that we can be able to compel the county government to compensate them through the court process. But the process may take a while because it's a bit technical, and it requires that the family members or the guardians have to raise what we call further court fee, which at the moment stands at about 1.5 million, so that we can be able to obtain what we call decrease. It's upon obtaining this decrease that we can be able now to make a formal application before the judge in the High Court, compelling the county government or the officers in charge of finance to come forth and compensate the children.
According to medical reports, the children developed sciatic neuritis following a direct injection on the sciatic nerve. The sciatic nerve is the largest single nerve in the human body. It runs from each side of the lower spine through deep in the buttock into the back of the thigh and all the way down to the foot. Any intramuscular injection is given in the upper outer parts of the buttock. When injected directly on the sciatic nerve, it leads to numbness of the affected leg. The injections were administered badly and hit the sciatic nerve, weakening it and causing muscle damage in the affected area. Injecting this nerve causes severe pain to the lower limbs and can lead to lower limb paralysis. According to medical reports by Dr. M.S. Malik, who did assessment on the minors, out of the 28 children, 17 suffered permanent disabilities of between 5 to 20% after the toxic jab. The children have deformities ranging from paralysis of the legs and foot drop. Some of the children had paralysis of the right lower limb, while others had paralysis of the left lower limb. NTV has also obtained reports of a surgeon who was hired by the county government of Busia to conduct tests on the 28 children, which indeed confirm that the children suffered paralysis after the deadly injection at Akichelesit dispensary. Investigations by the Ministry of Health pointed towards medical malpractice from inappropriate injection techniques as the primary cause of partial paralysis in all the 28 children. The children were treated between December 2014 and June 2015 at Akichelesit dispensary. The report further stipulated that the nurse who treated the children showed limited knowledge on the treatment guidelines for malaria in children because quinine was the wrong drug to give in undiluted format and in case where the malaria was not severe. The injected medicine quinine sulfate is quite toxic to the nerve. The site of injection for the children at the buttock was also found inappropriate for the children, all aged below 10. Possible treatment for the children is physiotherapy, heat massage, frequent exercises, electrical nerve stimulation and use of special knee and ankle supporting devices. The paralysis has not only affected their social life, but also their education. Some of the children like Faustine and Zakayo will have to wear fitted shoes all their lives and have to change it gradually as they grow.
Serikali kuu, tafadhali. Hatuwezi kuteseka na watoto ama tupoteza watoto na serikali anaona hivi. Na matibabu haya ilitokana kwa hospitali ya serikali.
Tulikuwa tunataka usaidizi tu, watusaidie hiyo watoto. Warudi tu wa matibabu, warudi tu vile tulizaa hawa.
Mahali imefikia mambo na kutafuta matibabu kwa county government ya Busia inaambulia patupu. Kwa hivyo ni heri watoto waweze kufidiwa, nasi tuweze kuchukua jukumu ya kupeleka watoto wetu mahali tunaweza kupata matibabu ambayo inaweza kusaidia watoto wetu.
Although nothing much can be done to change their lives, for now, what the parents want is justice. Justice for their little ones.